Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, it looks as though the pressure is now mounting on the Fulani government that we have in place in Nigeria regarding the Lekki Tollgate incident. That impunity, that kill and go mentality is now being tested. So the acid test now for that kill and go mentality, which they carry out with impunity, is now being tested with this now Lekki Tollgate incident. So with this Lekki Tollgate incident, it is appearing as though the entirety of Nigeria and the rest of the world are saying that you can kill, but you cannot go. Guys, I bring you this. Federal government reaches out to United Kingdom government over threats to impose sanctions on Nigeria's officials for their roles in the #EndSARS protest. So a long-winded headline, but a good indication of what is to come. We all saw what happened at the British Parliament, where all the members of Parliament were lining up one after the other to weigh against the Buhari regime, forcing them now into a position for them to react, as again, federal government reaches out to United Kingdom government over threats to impose sanctions on Nigeria officials for their roles in the #EndSARS protest. So now let's now see how this plays out. The federal government said it has reached out to the British government over the threat by the British Parliament to impose sanctions on Nigeria's officials for their roles in the EndSARS protest. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, disclosed this yesterday, November the 24th, whilst fielding questions from the State House correspondents at the end of the weekly virtual Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Council Chambers, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Onyema said the Nigerian government reached out to present its own side of the story. He said the lawmakers are not responsible for imposing sanctions, but adding that it is necessary to give the UK government Nigeria's own position to enable them have a balanced perspective. He said, "Yes, we have reached out to the United Kingdom government. The meeting that took place were parliamentarians and they don't speak for the UK government, which acts for the United Kingdom and has also heard the side of the government, that is the Nigerian government, and has also heard the side of the government regarding everything that has happened. So we have been in touch with them and engaging with them. And of course, as in any democracy, the members of parliament are able to also hear their views. But what is important is that a balanced picture is made available to them before they take any decisions. The United Kingdom government has been briefed. There was a UK parliamentarian meeting and the United Kingdom government, which acts for the United Kingdom, has also heard the side of the Nigerian government regarding everything that has happened. So that is the Nigerian position now, but of course the news is circling around these people, and they are coming to that realization now that that kill and go attitude that they have always had, that they have always used, is now coming to a crescendo. So this guy is of course mistaken in his analysis. Yes, the parliamentarians can debate anything, but the parliamentarians are in fact the government, because if you watch the UK channels in any day of the week, you will see that the Prime Minister is always there fielding questions from these parliamentarians. And the yes, they have an executive arm, and then you have the Secretary of State for this and the Secretary of State for that. But the influence really is in the Parliament, because if the parliamentarians take a position and they weigh that position on the prime minister, it will be very difficult for the prime minister not to give way to their will, especially when, one, it doesn't affect the United Kingdom directly, and two, it actually makes the United Kingdom look good in the international community. So if the United Kingdom weighs against the Buhari regime, it will be a feather in their cap. It will be a plus, not a minus, and the influence that these parliamentarians weighs in that direction. So this is the misunderstanding or obfuscation. If he understands, then he's trying to obfuscate, but this is the misdirection certainly that this guy is trying to present, because he either doesn't have a full understanding of how the British Parliament works, which I'm sure he does, because he almost certainly schooled in the UK and is an international citizen and a foreign affairs minister, so he must know. So if he does know, then he's being disingenuous. He's trying to obfuscate. He's trying to use abracadabra, boju boju magic tricks to pull the wool over people's eyes, but nobody is fooled by this. And the UK does have a precedence for this sort of acting out of the cusp. So they have this new law now that enables them to target individuals within government as opposed to imposing sanctions on sovereign states, and the UK will lose nothing by imposing sanctions on individuals within the Buhari government. The army chief, if the UK decides to impose sanctions on them, they will lose nothing. Yes, they sell some military trainings to the Nigerian army, so there's a commercial angle to that, but they have to weigh the balance in terms of how that looks for them in terms of acting internationally and the commercial end of that for their own wallet. So that is where the balance is, but the pressure now from the parliamentarians is certainly going to influence how decisions are made on this particular matter. So that is that understanding. But the thing now, because there's a precedence for this, by the way, for the United Kingdom, and they might not act now whilst Buhari is in power, but they might certainly act when Buhari leaves power and there's a new dispensation, especially if that dispensation weighs against the sort of Buhari mindset. A lot of you with a taste for politics and an instinct for history will remember a chap called Augustus Pinochet. Augustus Pinochet, or Augusto Pinochet, was for those who don't know him by the way, that is, there's just a brief history. Augustus Pinochet was a military dictator that then converted himself to like a civilian dictator in the style of sort of like Abacha, or at least what Abacha attempted in Chile. So it's a Chilean. He ruled Chile from 1973 to 1990. So now this guy, now he was noted for brutality and so like the sort of system that we're experiencing now in Nigeria, extrajudicial killing, impunity, etc. So he ruled Chile up to 1990 when he was then forced out of office. But then in 2000, I think, and 5, don't quote me on that, but I think it was 2005, this guy suddenly had, I think it was actually 2000, this guy suddenly had a knock on his door, on his hotel door in a London hotel by the British police to arrest him now for the atrocities that he committed in Chile 10 years prior. So he left his position 10 years, 1990, and then in the year 2000, suddenly a knock on his door to be arrested by the British police. So this sense of impunity, it doesn't last for life, and it doesn't really cover you then, more so when you have left office. This is what has led to Burutai, the army chief, saying that he's happy to live in Nigeria for the rest of his life and spend all of his days there, because of course there's going to be almost certainly an international warrant out for some of the people of this regime long after they have left office. So this is now the indications now, and the preparations for that are all of these debates that have been had in the British Parliament, the notice that has been served to the International Criminal Court, the movement that is being made by people like Femi Falana, and and the youths that are taken to the streets to protest for good governance. So this is the foundation now for the subsequent arrest of some of these people, or at least holding them to account, if not in Nigeria, and then almost certainly internationally, because it looks as though it is internationally that Nigerian criminals are held to account. I can't remember the name of that Niger Delta politician that was declared a national hero by Goodluck Jonathan, but was jailed for fraud in London. So this is the direction of travel now, and the preparation for that now is this debate that is taking place in the British Parliament. But this now supposed Minister of Foreign Affairs is either being liberal with the truth, or he has no grasp of how things work in the United Kingdom, which he must have, and which I'm almost certain that he does have. So he's trying to paint black as white for the Nigerian people. Conversations in the comment section. The Buhari government has now taken to the Idobale position in front of the British Parliament, because of course they know that once the British take hold of an affair, look, in Britain sometimes it can take them 50 years to solve a crime. I was reading recently some guy that suddenly new evidence came, and they knocked on his door at the age of 80 something for a crime that was committed 45 years ago. So they never let it go, and they will certainly never let it go now, especially when it was discussed so fervently within their chambers. So now this is the position now. What is your position though is what I am interested in. So come share thoughts about all that with me in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, the Idobale position is now what Malam Buhari is trying to adopt with the British Parliament, whilst Lai Mohammed is posturing with CNN. Abracadabra and Dabaru everything is the policy, but are you fooled? Come share thoughts. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.